Hey guys, so currently on the dash, she is sitting at 396 miles on my brand new 23 BRZ, and today I kind of just wanted to ramble and I wanted to just go for a drive. So I hope y'all will bear with me as I kind of just spiel and talk about my experience. So I ordered my 23 BRZ back in January of 23, and 5 years ago I did a really poor job of explaining to you guys how to negotiate and haggle the dealership and getting a good deal. Previously, my 2018 Subaru WRX, she was MSRP'd at $28,200 plus tax, so it came out to about anywhere about 32K out the door. I was fortunate enough to negotiate and haggle the price down to $28,000 flat out the door. So that was a base model, and I kind of shared, my experience with that, and I helped a ton of people. Specifically those who used to email me at tomvangtv@gmail. I explained to them like the whole process. I walked people through, the whole car buying experience too, and just kind of preface that, guys, I have a background in sales. I used to be in corporate, and so a lot of the strategies and sales tactics that the dealership use, I'm very familiar with, and to me it's very elementary, and as long as you know what you're doing, you can get away with the negotiating for a good deal. However, in the current market in 2023, that is not the case anymore, unfortunately. So I've been observing the car market and the car industry as a whole, and it really sucks for us buyers and us consumers right now. And there's so many parts to it, and I'll just share with you what I have gone through. So overall, I've had a very pleasant experience with buying my 23 BRZ because I went back through to Elk Grove Subaru. I went to my salesperson, Curtis Jer, who initially helped me with my 18 WRX. So ordering a new vehicle is very, very new to me as well. I've never done that before. I usually go into the lot and I kind of negotiate and haggle for what they have to offer. But with the BRZ, there's none on the lot at all. It's pretty much non-existent. And so I wanted this car specifically in a limited trim, and I had a few things that I personally wanted. So I factory ordered it through him. It was a very easy process. I submitted a credit application, and then he hit me up, he called me, and then we squared all the details, and I explained to him my payment process and everything. So I think the limited trim came out to about $32,518 for my model, including destination and fees and all that jazz. So when it came to me, upon receiving it and taking delivery of it, after taxes and all that such, she came out to about $35,500. So that was my actual out the door cost for this vehicle. Now that sounds like a lot, but again, I factory ordered it, so there isn't much room in terms of negotiating and haggling now overall. But more so, there's not a lot of room in negotiating and haggling for cars in general. So the reality is if I'm not willing to buy this vehicle, there's going to be someone else on the market who's going to pick up my vehicle. So the power now is in the hands of dealerships, and I kind of want to just caveat that too, that not all dealerships are bad. There are good dealerships and there are bad dealerships, and fortunately with me, my experience with Elk Grove Subaru has been very good. They're very, very friendly. Yeah, you have to kind of throw them a bone. They are salespeople, and they have to sell in order to eat. So that's kind of the gist of that. So ordering a vehicle was very, very easy and simple process for me. He updated me every step of the way. Initially, I wasn't expected to take delivery of my vehicle until the end of May. That's what he told me. However, it came in almost 2 months early, and of course, heck yeah, I'm stoked. It came in 2 months early. I'm excited. I got rid of my 18 WRX, and here we are. So adding on to that, the car market is garbage right now because there's not a lot of cars for a good deal. Everything's all marked up, and on top of that, if you're financing, you know, like, it is so bad right now. Like the APR rates, everything is horrible. And I have a credit score of about 800. And so to me, I am, you know, pretty diligent with my finances. And so I kind of just, when I jump into something, I need to do all the research ahead of time. So that's just kind of who I am. So I was already prepared. I already saw my numbers. I already kind of knew exactly what I wanted that I could afford with this vehicle. So I'm going to be transparent with you guys as well. I put down $15,000. And I planned to finance that was it, the $21,000 over a 48-month term. And initially, I submitted a bunch of auto applications. I went specifically through my bank first with Chase, and the best that they were able to offer me was 6.5% APR, which is absurd to me. And I actually called them and I asked them, I was like, why is that? Why is it the case that, like, these are astronomical APR rates for someone, you know, in my bracket who worked really hard to get my credit score up? This is the best that you can offer me. And they gave me some BS excuse about, you know, how the market's different and federal government regulations and blah blah blah. And whether that's true or not, I'll get back to that in terms of, I feel like dealerships kind of shot themselves in the foot, and that's what kind of ripple affected into the bank being the way they are now. So I felt as though I was being punished, and I was like, this is so stupid. If it's really 6.5% APR and that's the best that you can do, I don't want to bank with you guys no more. I don't trust that you guys, you know how to manage your money. I think you guys are stupid. And so, you know, of course I can refinance later down the line, but to me, like, as someone with a good credit, I have a lot to bargain with. I have money, and, you know, I am a better customer than the average Joe. So fast forward to my car buying experience, I had to utilize Subaru's partnership with Chase, which is still the same bank, but the difference is that they have a financing package for specific vehicles. So I'm sure you guys have seen, you know, there's so many WRXs on the lot now, the brand new 22 Plus, and they're literally throwing them out. They're like, hey, look, we'll give you 0.9 APR% if you pick one up, a base model up right now. And so, like, if you have good credit and so forth, right? And so when I bought my 18 WRX, I used the in-house financing and the special because I had a good credit then too. So I got a 2.9% APR over 60 month. And then for this one, I utilized the current partnership, which is the 3.9% APR over 48 months. And you know, I'm happy, but at the same time, I'm upset because I had to lean on the dealership. Generally, my rule of thumb is you don't necessarily rely on the dealerships. You tend to be more prepared, do everything all ahead of time. But in this case, I had to trust my dealership and that they won't, you know, screw me over. And fortunately, they didn't. And so, for you guys who are interested in getting into the market and buying your brand new vehicle, I just want you guys to be aware, and I want you guys to be fully prepared that the market right now is hot garbage. It is not friendly, and there's a lot of dealerships out there that is screwing people over. And so banks are kind of like in the crossfire in this because this. So let me backtrack a little bit. In the world of sales, you can like, there's quotas you have to meet, and of course they always push you and like tell you to meet the quotas and stuff. And your quotas are arbitrary numbers. I think it's a complete load of crap. Every fiscal year, whether you meet your quota or not, they'll throw on an arbitrary 15% and tell you that you need to exceed that. If you just barely meet your quota, you're not doing a quote-unquote good job. But if you exceed it by 15%, it shows growth and, you know, in your sales. And so they want to keep pushing that again and again. To me, it's completely arbitrary, and I think it's stupid. And so, tying that into COVID during the pandemic, in the midst of 2020, there was a bunch of people getting, you know, incentive paychecks. I was against incentive payments, even though I'm a recipient of it myself. I just think giving money to stupid people who don't know how to manage their money is a big no-no. And it is what it is. So in the midst of the pandemic, a bunch of people lost their jobs, and now they're on unemployment, and the US government is giving them tons of money and stuff. So I remember seeing friends who like worked at McDonald's or warehouses and shit, and they were making like anywhere from $2,000 to $3,000 a month. Now they're fired and they're unemployed, and they're making like 7 to 8 G's a month. And they are flaunting it. They're posting it on social media. They're like, man, I'm eating good at night, eating lobster, eating steak, and they're going out hiking. They're doing all this stupid dumb shit with their money that they didn't even necessarily work hard for. And so these are the same people that went into the car market and decided to buy things that they couldn't necessarily afford. And the thing is that money that the government gives to them eventually will come to an end. And so fast forward now to post-pandemic in 23, where we are all coming out of the pandemic. These same people are no longer able to afford these cars that they purchased. And so these are the same folks too that are stupid enough to buy a car over the asking price. And this is kind of what ripple affected into what we're experiencing now. And that's the reason why the new market and the used market went up, in addition to like the chip shortages and all the stuff that the pandemic caused and wreaked havoc upon. So that's just kind of like the general overview of how I've seen the market, and as a consumer and as a member of this market, because I re-entered it because I wanted to buy a brand new vehicle. It kind of sucked that like I'm gonna have to go through this crap, and other people are gonna be going through the same thing too. And so the first time a BRZ waved at me, awesome. But yeah, it's the market right now is a complete mess, and I think it's very, very unfortunate, and I want you guys to be made aware of that. So tying this video all together, I financed. Fortunately, I got a good deal because I have good credit, and I put a substantial amount down, and I have a relationship with my dealership, and so they trusted me and I trusted them. So right now, my BRZ, my monthly payment is going to be about like $450, a little over $450 a month for the 48 month term. And my game plan is I'm going to continue to do overpayments. I'm going to pay like $600 a month, and I just keep doing that until I get to last year, and I'm just going to pay everything all in one lump sum. That's generally what I've done in the past with all my previous vehicles that I have financed. So it's not a big deal to me. I have no qualms with like where I'm at, because within under $500 a month, it is definitely reasonable for me and something that I could afford. And I've heard a lot of crazy stories of other folks who have car payments of anywhere from $800 to like $1,000 a month, and that to me is absurd and astronomically crazy. So yeah, man, for those of you guys who are in the market for buying a brand new car, I just want to wish you guys luck, because it is not fun right now. It just, dealerships are now essentially starving for sales, and they essentially shot themselves in the foot. All those individuals who couldn't necessarily afford these vehicles, they just signed them away, and now there's a large market now of people who are now like delinquent on their loans. They're not paying things back. There's vehicles are being repoed, and so this big ripple effect affects the car market. And so if ever you're in the market and you're trying to buy a brand new car, this is exactly what you're going to be going through. I don't ever recommend buying used, specifically if you're in the market for a sports car, because you have to be alert. You have to be aware of what product and what car you're going to be entering in, because sports cars are generally more prone to abuse. When you see it on the market, generally there's something wrong with it. When it's not on the market, that's when it's usually pretty good, and if someone is willing to sell it, they will usually sell it at a premium. So just want to share with you guys and be very transparent with you with my experience of my car buying experience in 2023. I hope that things return back to normal. I hope we can go back to the way it was, where I can help you guys with onboarding and like negotiating tactics and such like that with the dealerships. But yeah, it is very unfortunate, and this is essentially my experience with car buying in 2023. So I hope you guys like this video. If you do, give it a thumbs up. I will